friends, it's Gwen and I am back today with another scrapbooking process video. Today's share is for Cocoa Vanilla Studio and I'm using their brand new Sunkissed collection for this one. I have a photo of my daughter Caitlin that was taken on family vacation, so that's it there, and it's going to be perfect for the little plan that I have for today. On the blog this week, a bunch of the girls are going to be pulling out and using their dies. And I love using dies on my pages and I haven't done so in a little while. So I pulled out these couple here. So they're all Sizzix dies that I've run through my Sizzix machine. And they're all the same shaped flower element, just in 3 different sizes. So I have cut out a bunch of those. And I'm using the Feeling Fine pattern paper for that. It's a bit of a mixed media kind of feel to it, so I really loved the idea of cutting out a bunch of these floral pieces and having them gathered together to create a bit of a background for my page, I guess. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a play with their position. There is no real rhyme or reason or method to how to place this. Oh, that's right. It's a brand new die. The big one is a brand new die. And I had a little bit of the, well, I don't know what that is. It's just like when you cut it, it leaves like a little black edge. So I had to pull them off. Anyway, no real rhyme or reason to the method of where I've placed them. I'm just mixing and matching the sizes, and I'm being a little bit careful about mixing and matching the colors. This pattern paper had sort of some sections in it that were dark pink, and they had other sections that were very like grass green, and I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have like all the green in one section and all the blue in one section, just mixing and matching. And I have talked a little bit about this in my channel. I'm making sure that the edge is interesting. So I don't want any of the edges to, or the shapes to line up exactly. I want to make that outside edge really interesting and varied. So yeah, that's all I'm really doing. I do also have an idea of where I'm going to place my photo, and it is going to be there. Because Caitlin's on the right of the photo and she's looking towards I liked that she's looking into the center of the page. Yeah, that's what I'm explaining there with my hands. So I know my photo is going to go on the right there. And that's really the plan. That was all I had in my mind. I just sort of stuck them, like positioned them where I thought they would go. Didn't really think too much about that. Okay, so now that I'm happy with their position, I am going to lock them in place by adding just a little bit of liquid adhesive behind each one. And I try very hard not to lift the flower up. I like to keep it exactly in the position that I have it located. So I just lift up the edge and then add a little bit of glue in underneath, and that's going to finish up the background for my page. So I am going to go ahead and position my photo. I'm using a T-square ruler here just to make sure it's perfectly straight. I don't really have anything on the page to line it up with, so the T-square ruler is great for that. I'm also going to add to the pretty floral background with some more floral die cuts. There is a floral die cut pack in the Sunkissed collection, and there's so many pretty elements in that one. So if you love florals, you definitely need to grab yourself that pack. I'm also going to add in some elements from the die cut ephemera pack, including this one here, which is going to be my title, Fun in the Sun, and it's going to be positioned there on the left. And really, for the rest of the page, like the bones are there. I've already got a bit of a plan in mind. So now it's the fun part. Now I just get to play with all of the bits and pieces, the pretty elements, and create some lovely clusters to help draw the eye around my page. I am sorry that there is a bit of glare on my photo for this layout. This one that hasn't happened before. It's a picture of my daughter Caitlin taken on a family vacation earlier this year. We were at a place called Fraser Island, and there's a very famous shipwreck that's on the island. So we were driving past and we pulled up, and I did take a couple of photos And I was kind of pushing it a little bit because she's not always a big fan of having a photo taken. So I did get a bit of a funny look over her shoulder. She's like, "Are you, are you done yet, Mum? Can we just watch the, the waves crash over the shipwreck?" It's really pretty there, actually. Okay, so back to the layout. And I did decide to have one main cluster, which is going to be on the left of the photo, which is where my title will be. I'm then going to have two sort of supporting clusters, one of which I'm working on now, which is the floral cluster that's going to go in the bottom right hand corner of the photo. And then there will be another one that's sort of above the top left hand corner of the photo, and that sort of ends up being kind of like my visual triangle, and that's what kind of helps draw the eye around the page. I've got a sticker from the accessory sticker sheet above the photo there, that one there called Summer Days. And what I've done is just taken it off the sticker sheet and then added some 3D foam adhesive behind it so that it sits at the same level as my photo. And then above that, I'm positioning this flag element. That one is from the die cut ephemera pack. And I know it's a bit OCD. I just wanted to make sure that the edge of the flag was nice and straight on the page. And like I mentioned earlier, I didn't have any guidelines. Often a layout, the background of a layout might have some lines in it so that you can see if things are straight. This one didn't have that, so I was really careful about making sure everything's positioned nice and straight on the page. I've also added to that cluster at the top there one of the wooden epoxy buttons from that pack. Oh yes, and there's quite a bit of auditioning that goes on with this little flag banner piece. Spoiler alert, it doesn't end up on the page. But boy, it gets auditioned in quite a few places before I decide, no, I don't really need it. It's super sweet. Save it for another project. I'd love to know, do you do that when you're creating? Do you tend to gravitate to a particular element and then for whatever reason decide that it really needs to go on this page and then audition it in 100 places only to kind of realize that it doesn't have to go on this page, and if it doesn't fit, well, we can save it for another one? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below. And I did just want to quickly chat also about the embellishment clusters. So I like to work, when I'm making my pages, I like to work with the larger elements first. Here I go again with more auditioning of the banner. Largest elements first through to the smallest elements. So it's at this point where my background sorted, that's the biggest element, my photo, which is a really large component of this page, and then my title and the floral elements. I would call them in this case medium-sized elements to add. And now I'm working on the little details, so that's where I would pull the epoxy buttons. I have the sweet little sentiment sticker there that says holiday highlights. So it was perfect for this photo. And I am also going to add in a moment here some of the puffy stickers. The puffy stickers in this collection are so sweet. You have to grab them. They're so lovely. And there's a bunch of sweet little hearts, which I do end up adding to the page in the very end. But before I get there, there is a little more auditioning and shuffling of things that's required. For this page, actually, I did do quite a bit of different levels. So I've raised some of the elements up on foam and then others I've left flat to the page. So the rainbow above the title there, that's on 3D foam. So then the title is actually on double foam, and that makes it the same height as the photo. The florals I have tucked under those elements, so they're flat to the page. But yes, and then the Summer Days title up the top, the text up the top above my photo, that's actually on foam as well. And see, here I go, still fussing with the little flag. I do like it in that last spot. but I do decide at this point it's really not needed. I don't need it. There's enough going on. Save it for another project. We'll see where that ends up, shall we? Okay, so I am going to be finishing up the page by adding some of these enamel dots from my stash. And funny story, there was exactly the same amount of enamel dots as there were flowers on the layout. So not planned, totally meant to be. Thank you so much for being here, my creative friends. If you like the way that I scrapbook or the way that I chat about the way that I scrapbook, I would love it if you would give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all about my process or about the Cocoa Vanilla products, be sure to leave them in the comments below. I'm about to enjoy this lovely treat my Miss 14 made me, lamingtons from scratch. And as always, I'll leave you with some close-up images here in a moment. Thanks again for being here, lovelies, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!